Hey coaches, this is installs, which is in team development. And if you look through some of the other ones, a lot of stuff looks like it might be similar. So I would definitely go look at quizzes and guides are combined, questions is its own thing, and installs is a lot like how most coaches would think of if I told you, hey, here's our install, online or whatever. So the first big thing that I think is like invaluable compared to any other platform or any other way to do installs is the accountability. So when I create an install and it says players went and watched it, I can see by player, by item, how much they looked at it. So, all right, this kid, let's say these are formations, right? So let's say the kid looked at every single one for 10 to 20 seconds. All right, he's done a really good job at review, I think. Maybe it's not the world changing review, but if I got it on the field and said, oh, look, Alexander knows what he's doing, and it lined up with he watched stuff for a while, maybe it's the same with Arthur here. And so that is where the accountability comes in, right? So he looked at this for 2 minutes. Now let's go down to the one that's at 70 minutes, right? So kid went boom, 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 and set it running for 60 seconds where it just sat there. Excuse me, 60 minutes. Where this came from was particularly with asking kids to watch film in huddle. We would say, hey, here's the list. We get like, hey, this kid was looking at it for an hour or whatever he was in there. And I don't think there's anything wrong with saying like, okay, at least the kids are going in, and if it shows that they logged in and they looked at it for 5 minutes, at least something was happening where they were trying. At least they're on their way. But this gives me a way to really say, hey, look, I can tell you exactly what you're looking at for exactly how long. And if you mess it up on the field, I'm going to be able to say, hey, man, we gave you this stuff weeks ago, or we did this all summer long, and even before coming to camp, we gave you, here's our formations 101. You could have looked at this on the bus right there, right? And if you don't know this stuff, you're a senior, you should know this stuff, right? And if I see a kid who he's young and he's putting in the time, this one probably looks like a really good example. Maybe not 3 minutes on that, but as a coach, I could say, like, hey, if a kid's looking at this for 10, 30 seconds on each formation, right? He's got a pretty good idea of what's going on. And so that player, when we were talking with someone about watching film on Huddle, he said, basically, he said, at one point, his exact quote was, Huddle's only good for highlights. And I was like, oh man, that's tough for us as coaches because this was a kid who, he was a kid where it showed up 30 minutes, an hour every game looking at film. And to me, I'm like, how can you spend that much time, you know, focused on your plays? You had 3 catches, right? But that's, that's neither here nor there, I think. And it's hard to really um, hit on a guy for, they want to go play at the next level. And I want to encourage that. And he did. So, there's some good there. I don't think his highlight sharing was entirely the thing. I think the fact that we could say, "Hey, man, this kid can play," here's go watch him at a game, and here's this tape. 60 minutes of making your own tape. I don't know. It's neither here nor there. I'm getting into a different subject. So that's the accountability portion of installs, and I think that just kind of separates it from a lot of other things. The next piece is some of the stuff that you would just expect from installs, being able to print one. They come out like this. They've got a little index. They've got all the pictures you've put in there. And when you're looking at them in the web, you can add video. If you add video, it just kind of picks a screenshot of it. So you would know that it's there. Especially if you're standing up there and saying, "Hey, we're going to go through install number one," and you had a piece of paper, you could say, "All right, here comes the one with a picture or with a video." And then you can set them as public. Say you're doing a clinic, you could share that link out. Let's go. We covered activity. Again, presentation, pretty straightforward. You can toss it up on a board. You can go to the next items. And let's go to creating one. I'm just going to look at the editing of one right here. So it gives me all of the items that I've already put in it. I can move them around. Let's say we'll do formations for a second. I'll just make an example of that. So I'm going to go back so I don't update this thing. And actually, let's just create it real quick. I'm going to say form. I'm going to just put in some words, and I'm going to say I want formations, right? So let's say I want to start with empty. Okay, so I've got, again, I just clicked on empty. I have pictures of everything that I've uploaded for empty, and I have the option to add more. So we'll just choose this one and this one. And I can add some notes to this if I wanted to. So we'll just blah, blah, blah. Add. Okay, so now I've got empty, and now I want to go in and I want to start adding more with empty. So I'm going to choose some formations. I'm going to say, show me empty, left. I've got some pictures. I'm going to add that one. I'm going to add, again, I'm just able to quickly look up like, okay, does this thing have pictures? No. Can I upload a picture? Sure. Do I need notes on it? Whatever. And maybe it's just, hey, like I want this on the list and we can discuss this as a team. We don't have a bunch of pictures for, let's see if we can find something crazy. So we don't have a bunch of quiz pictures for empty, left, flex, near, whatever that might be for your team. But we want it on the list so that we can discuss it when, we're all up at Chalk Talk or whatever. And that covers pretty much all of it. One other thing is I can share this directly to different groups. So I can say, I want this to go to, maybe it's a brand new coach. Here's our basic formation stuff. Or I wanted to go to a specific player, and this is going to go to George. And last one thing that I think is probably the most used is saying, I want to share this with all of my quarterbacks, and I want to share it with all of my wide receivers. And I've already put those kids in those groups, and that portion is pretty easy because kids can actually put themselves in those groups easily. There we go. That is installs.